This tutorial will help you to do reasonably good recordings and to learn a lot about the process without spending a lot of money. An additional benefit to learning this process is that once you learn it, you can upgrade to a better microphone, preamp, and sound card in steps and still use this process. You can use Audacity no matter how high you go with your hardware. The introductory music to this tutorial was done with this process. Recording environment. You may have heard a lot about rooms with good ambience or sound quality. If you're not a trained acoustical engineer, you're better off to use as neutral an environment as possible. You can easily add synthetic ambience as explained further on. Here is what you need. A space big enough to perform freely in. An attic is a good choice. The angled walls will help to disperse echoing. Covering the walls with soft textured materials helps. Carpeting, racks of clothes, shelves of books are all good choices. Quiet. This includes magnetic vibration from fluorescent lights, transformers, electric motors, and so on, which microphones can hear. It's best to place your recording equipment in another room if you have the space. Alternatively, you can build a simple sound-insulated box from a corrugated cardboard box lined with soft material. But remember that electronic equipment needs cooling air. Microphones. I suspect that the cost of decent microphones has a lot to do with you watching this tutorial. Good microphones are great, but as long as a microphone has a fairly wide frequency response, say 60 to 12,000 Hertz, you can compensate it with Audacity's equalizer, as explained further on. I used a $35 Radio Shack microphone and a computer microphone that I got for $3 at a thrift store to record the introductory music to this tutorial. Unless you have a pretty good computer microphone, you'll need a microphone preamp. The cheap way is to use an old, good quality cassette deck. You can usually find these in garage sales, thrift stores, or even in people's trash. It doesn't have to play well, but the record monitoring has to be clear. Again, this obviously isn't as good as a professional preamp, but equalization can compensate for a lot. If you want to run a computer-type microphone into the tape deck, you'll need a microphone power supply, which you can build with minimal electronic skills. One battery, one capacitor, one resistor, and a couple of jacks. Here is a schematic diagram for a decent microphone and power source, either of which you can make for less than $10 with parts from Radio Shack. Software. In a word, Audacity. An excellent, absolutely free recording studio available at audacity.sourceforge.net. I use the beta version, which they say still has some bugs, but it has been stable for me, and it has a better equalizer that allows you to save the settings that you like. If it doesn't work well on your computer, try the older finished version. Process. Plug microphone or microphones into preamp inputs. Plug preamp audio out into computer audio in. You'll probably have to get or make an adapter to do this. RCA plugs on a deck end and 1/8" stereo plug on a computer end. If you're using a tape deck for a preamp, it will have to be in record mode, which will probably require a cassette, which should be paused so it doesn't run out and shut off while you're recording. Some decks also have a monitoring switch, which should be on. It may take some playing around to find your Audacity input settings. The process isn't the same on all computers. Remember that if your computer has separate audio and microphone inputs, you'll need to select line input if you're using a preamp. This may show up near the center top of the Audacity window. You may need to click Edit, click Preferences, click Devices, click Recording. Keep trying until you see movement in time with sound in the record gauges at the top of the window. Hit the record button of Audacity and then go to your microphone and make the loudest sound you'll be recording. Adjust the preamp and Audacity input controls and repeat the sound until you find a place where the wave image in Audacity nearly fills the vertical space in the recording visualization. Now record your music and export it as a WAV file. Leaving Audacity open, play the saved file in Windows Media Player or any audio player with an equalizer. In Windows Media Player, click Now Playing, click Enhancements, click Equalizer, and the equalizer will show up at the bottom of the window. Play your recording and experiment with the sliders on the equalizer until you like what you hear. Here's a hint. A cheap microphone will usually need boosts in the high and low range. It's also a good idea to cut 60 Hz and everything lower all the way down. This eliminates some noise without noticeably affecting the sound that you want. Boosting any frequency will also boost the overall sound volume, so make sure you're getting the sound you want at the volume you want. Leaving Media Player open, return to Audacity and select the entire piece by dragging the cursor over it. Under Effects, select Amplify and amplify to -5 to make space for the next effect. Select the piece again and under Effects, select Equalize. Set the Audacity equalizer by dragging the reference line to the values of the settings that you liked in Media Player. Clicking the Media Player equalizer slider knob will display its setting. Apply this setting to the piece. If the adjustment amplifies the piece beyond the height of the viewing space, undo the last two steps and repeat them with a larger negative amplification. Under Effects, select Normalize and apply it to the whole piece. You can call this finished and export it as a WAV or MP3 file, or you can go on to add ambience. Adding ambience. This will replicate the sound of an interesting live space. In Audacity, open a new stereo audio track. Select the whole piece again and copy it and paste it into the new track. If your original recording was mono, split the stereo track and paste it into both tracks. Otherwise, just split the track. The split function is under Audio Track at the left side of the image. Negative amplify both tracks to -5 as in the equalization process. Select one channel only and apply G-verb under the Effects heading. Select the other channel and do the same, except change the G-verb room size to 20 feet. This will give the right and left channels slightly different reverbs and create an audio illusion of space. If this process over-amplifies the channel, then back up the same as with the equalization step. A somewhat better free Audacity reverb than the G-verb plugin is available to download. You can Google Anwida, A-N-W-I-D-A, reverb. In Anwida, I like to use Bright Room Small and Bright Room Large for the two channel settings. Now play back the whole piece. The reverb will be way too strong, but you can adjust the volume sliders at the left of the reverb channels till you like the sound. Here's a hint. If you want a natural sound, a little reverb goes a long way. I like about a -12 to -16 volume. You may be tempted to overdo it, but too much reverb will confuse the sound. When you have the ambience the way you want it, you can export it as a WAV or MP3 and you're finished. I struggled a long time to figure all this stuff out, and I hope it helps you out. If this helps you, why not visit my website and look at some of my graphics, videos, check out some of my music and writing. Thanks a lot.